All right, let's jump right in. We're going to take a little trip into the mind of the great physicist Richard Feynman, and we're going to use his ideas to completely tear down one of the most basic things you think you know, your understanding of time. So get ready, because this is going to be a rude awakening. I mean, let's just put it out there. You are completely wrong about time. You feel it passing, right? You watch the clock, you get older. But according to physics, that feeling, that's not time. It's more like a sensation, a really convincing biological trick that your brain is playing on you. You know, we all love that metaphor of the river of time. It sounds so poetic. But think about it for a second. If time is a river, how fast is it flowing? The only answer you can really give is 1 second per second, which, if you stop and think about it, is totally meaningless. It's like saying a ruler is 1 foot per foot. It tells you absolutely nothing. So where does all this confusion even come from? Well, it starts right here, between your ears. That internal clock you think is so reliable, it's not. It's actually kind of a beautiful, chaotic mess. Let's just try a little experiment right now. Imagine counting to 60 in your head. No, really, think about it. How are you doing it? Are you hearing a little voice saying 1, 2, 3? Or are you seeing something, like numbers on a screen? That how is the key. You're not actually measuring time. You're just running a little mental program. And as we're about to see, it's a pretty buggy program. So what's so fascinating is that some of you are voice counters and some of you are visual counters. And here's the crazy part. If you're a voice counter, try talking while you count. You can't. The whole system just jams. But if you're a visual counter, you can read a book or sort your socks while that little mental ticker tape just keeps on running. Your personal experience of time passing is just a mental construct. You could even call it a biological hallucination. Okay, so to really get what time is, we kind of have to throw our feelings out the window for a minute. We need to stop talking about how time feels and start asking what it actually is. We need to think like a physicist. And you know what? In physics, time is almost disappointingly simple. It's just a system for ordering events. That's it. Imagine you've laid out a deck of cards on a table. You can see the jack came before the queen, which came before the king. That order is just a property of how the cards are arranged. Time is the table. The events are the cards. Nothing is flowing. We fall into these little language traps all the time. We say things like, time is making me older, or time spoiled the milk. But that's not right. Biological processes make you older. Bacteria spoils the milk. Saying time did it is like saying inches built the house. No, carpenters and wood built the house. Inches are just the measurement. Time is the ruler, not the thing doing the work. So, time is a ruler. Got it. But what if that ruler isn't rigid? What if it's flexible and it can actually stretch and bend? Well, this is where Albert Einstein walks in and reality starts to get really, really weird.
Think of it like this. You're always moving through this thing called space-time at a constant speed, the speed of light, actually. When you're just sitting still, you're using 100% of that motion to travel through time. Your personal clock is ticking as fast as it possibly can. But the moment you start moving through space, walking, driving, whatever, you have to borrow some of that motion from time. So you actually start to move slower through time. Your clock literally ticks slower than for someone standing still.
And that brings us to the ultimate limit. What if you could travel at the speed of light? Well, you'd be using all your motion for space. So how much would be left for time? 0. Zilch. For a photon of light, from its own perspective, the entire journey across the universe, from its creation to its destruction, happens in the exact same instant. The universe is frozen. Okay, that's wild. But it brings up another huge problem. If the laws of physics don't care if they run forwards or backwards, why do we only experience time as a one-way street, right? Why can we remember yesterday, but we have no memory of tomorrow? Think about this. You see an egg fall off the counter and shatter on the floor. Looks completely normal, right? The universe is behaving just as you'd expect. But what if you saw this? The yolk and shell leaping off the floor, magically flying back together to form a perfect egg that lands back on the counter. You'd immediately know the film was running backward. Why? Well, the secret isn't some deep law about time. It's just about probability. And this is a concept called entropy. It's basically a measure of messiness. See, there are billions upon billions of ways for an egg to be a broken mess on the floor, but there's really only one way for it to be a perfect whole egg. The universe is just lazy. It naturally stumbles from order into disorder. So get this. Your perception of time's arrow,
It's just your brain detecting the universe's unstoppable slide into pure messiness. You're not a time traveler, you're a disorder detector. So all of this leads us to the most profound, the most mind-bending implication of all. If time is really just another dimension, like up, down, or left, right, then the entire universe is fundamentally different from how we experience it. This leads to the really big one. If time is a dimension, does that mean the past is still out there somewhere? And even more startling, does the future already exist? Physics, believe it or not, kind of points to a very strange and unsettling yes. This is called the block universe theory. Picture your entire life like a reel of film. The beginning, the middle, the end, it all exists at the same time, printed right there on that plastic strip. Your consciousness, your feeling of being in the moment, is just like the light of the projector, illuminating one single frame at a time. It creates the illusion of flow, of passage. But the whole story, your birth, this moment right now, your death, it's all already there. And this model just completely destroys our idea of now. There is no single universal now that blankets the entire cosmos. Your now is just your particular slice of that four-dimensional block. And if you start moving really fast, your slice cuts through that block at a different angle. What you see as happening now could be in someone else's past or even in their future. It's all relative.
So what does this all mean? It means that the clock on your wall isn't really a window into the true nature of reality. It's a social tool. It's a machine we built to give ourselves a shared, simple, and comfortable illusion to live by, because the actual truth of physical time is wild, untamed, and deeply, deeply strange.
And that's the real punchline from this whole journey. Time is not what you think it is. It isn't a river. It's a ruler that bends. It doesn't flow. It's just a measurement of the universe getting messier. And the past, present, and future might all exist at once. So the final question we have to ask ourselves is, if we can be this profoundly wrong about something so basic, what else are we getting completely wrong?